Gary, cold open question of the week.
Yes, sir.
What's the wildest thing you've ever done to get out of a job you didn't want anymore?
Ooh. The wildest thing? Never had nothing really wild. I mean, I basically just up and just like stopped going. I've actually the one here in when I was at Publix the first time, like down here for a little while, I told them I was leaving and moving back home, but never did. And then basically I just used to wake up in the morning and pretend I used to go to work because I didn't want to tell Shannon yet. And I used to go to the Denny's and read the paper looking for jobs and have breakfast.
That is one of the funniest stories. I remember you telling us that on the other show on Blog Talk Radio.
Yep.
And I've been looking for that ever since to listen to it back. Oh, because it killed me.
Yeah.
Have you ever just like walked off a job like in the middle of a shift?
No, I've never done one of those. I mean, like I said, it's usually I either just stopped showing up or I just up and just said, hey, I'm quitting. So actually the Publix one, I just called and told them I'm like I wasn't coming back. So
I when I was working for a grocery store up here, I don't want to name names. Like when I was in my 20s, I went on lunch and I was sitting in my car and I was like, screw this. I just drove home.
No, I've left a job. Like I said, I was not feeling well and went home, and then just never went back. But yeah, never anything wild.
All right, well, let's get the show started.
Booyah.
Make sure you have the volume turned up.
I do.
Tonight on the Brian Lennon Show podcast, we welcome back Lisa Red, who's going to tell us all about New York Comic-Con 2022. So grab your masks, grab your capes. It's time for the Brian Lennon Show on Substack. All right, so
Yes, sir.
Lisa, you've made it.
I made it. Sorry, new setup.
Is your buddy old pal Dawn going to be joining us?
She is still working, so she can't join us right now. She just got in trouble. Yeah.
She got in trouble?
No, she's got in touch with me. She was going to try to do both, and she can't. She's too busy. So.
Okay.
I'll keep the participation room open so I could keep track.
There you go. All right. So welcome into the Brian Lennon Show podcast on Substack.com. Check out the Brian Lennon Show on Substack, brianlennonshow.substack.com. We're joined by Gary McDaniel and Lisa Red, our special guest today. Lisa, you spent the past 4 days at Comic-Con?
Yes.
But before we get into that, our cold open question was, what's the wildest thing you've ever done to get out of a job you didn't want anymore?
Oh my God. I think there was a grocery store I worked for about a month, and I hated it so bad. And I was like, I have to get out of here. So in the middle of the night, I called up the only manager I really liked. And I told him that I was failing college, even though I was not in college. I had to quit my job, and it never went back. Secret's out now.
Did you stay the entire shift?
Oh, no. I called in the middle of the night. That I didn't show up. I didn't know.
Okay. Do you think most people have a job story like that?
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's always that one job that you somehow don't put on the resume because
Mhm.
you left it abruptly.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
no one finds out.
Yeah, I did that a while. I don't think I put pennies on my resume for a while because
Oh, that was another one. Good job. Yes.
that one was horrible.
I
And
snuck out in the middle of
I don't put one on there now only because I was only there for like a couple weeks and they decided to go a different direction. So I don't even bother putting that one on. I skip it.
All right. I heard that question on another podcast, and I thought it would be a fun one for us
That is a fun question.
because I know we have some stories.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Lisa, you're back from Comic-Con. Tell us just kind of a general overview of the last 4 days of your life.
Like crazy chaotic because like you have to be when you plan to go for 4 days, you really have to prep those 4 days. Like you have to do your research, what's going on, what's on the floor, what you're most interested in, and then go from there. So I prepped for like a week before going, and then once you're there, it's literally just go, go, go. Like there's no just like, oh, look around, it's great. Like, you're constantly in motion of doing something. At least I am anyway. Most of us there are. Yeah.
Now, Comic-Con is that at the Javits Center?
It's been at the Javits Center. I have been going to Comic-Con every year, except for the one that was canceled from the pandemic, since 2009. So, and every year it's been at the Javits Center.
Okay. So the whole Comic-Con is self-contained within Javits Center.
Now it is. So the Javits Center was a bit smaller. I think it was maybe 3 blocks long, and now it's maybe 4 or 5. And at one point, the Javits Center was under construction, so New York Comic Con or Reed Pop, who puts the con on, had to expand throughout the city. So we had panels in Madison Square Garden. We had panels at a bunch of like sometimes the library, like so they had it across town, and a lot of fans didn't like that because it was a really long commute to some of those places, and then you lost your whole day in the Javits Center, like because there was the floor, which is most people go for the floor, like they want to see the displays, they want to get free swag, they want to see their favorite comic book artists and stuff. So like it was hard to go to a panel and then you'd miss your whole day on the floor, so yeah.
Right.
But now it's all contained. The Javits Center has a beautiful new addition, and it's gorgeous, and it's all together.
How new is the new edition?
The new edition, if you're looking at it, it's on the right-hand side. It's 5 floors. It also contains like a living roof. It has a lot of stuff for the environment, and it also has a lot of conference stuff as well. So,
And how new is it?
I think last year was the first year construction was completed, so it's only the second year it's been in use. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've been to the Javits Center twice for like Vision Expo when I worked in optical. And what you're explaining, I didn't see, so I just wanted to
You
know.
might have been in just like the Javits Center is so huge that on the very bottom floor there's 3 halls. They're massive, and they can transform those halls into like something like Revision Wear, where you might just go to that hall and you think that's the whole thing, but like picture every single nook and cranny space of Javits Center, which even the part is huge, is completely packed with nerd things.
Yeah, well, it would be at least, I think it was at least 2 floors, because the main floor was like all the optical like frames and stuff, and accessories, but the bottom floor was all of like the technical equipment, like for lean and stuff. So going back to 2009, your first year at Comic-Con, as you slowly die here, you gotta quit smoking, Lisa.
No, you got it. It's the con crud. This is the first year I ever went to Comic-Con sick. Usually I come home sick. It's called the con crud. You're just with so many people. But Dawn and I were sick prior to going with like sinus issues. So it was awful. I don't think I've talked this much really. That. Sorry, now go ahead with your. What we call-
All right. Do you have a cough button? No.
I don't know. I have a lozenge, so hopefully that.
All right. Let's get you a lozenge. So going back to 2009, what was your like initial impression, like the first time you were at Comic-Con?
I didn't even know about this Comic-Con because it's even older than like I think it was going maybe 5 or 6 years prior to me even starting to go. But I was just cruising the internet and I saw that Joss Whedon who's like produced all my or made my favorite things like Buffy and Firefly. He was said to be at the convention that year. And it was like maybe this particular one happened to be in February. Now the staple is it's in October, but that year it was February. And 2 weeks before the con, I looked up tickets were still available. It was only 3 days then, and Greg and I went Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I thought it was fantastic, obviously, because I keep going. But that year I had a great experience. I got to meet Joss Whedon. I was one of 100 people who got the ticket because I waited out in negative-degree weather to get the ticket, but I'm dedicated. And we just had a blast. The show floor was awesome. And little did I know, because I didn't know Dawn at the time, but she was there as well. Or she went one day and she tried to get the rest of the days and she couldn't go. And then the next year she went. And then the year after that, we started going together. Like we just started hanging out and we just kept going. Greg is fair weather. He comes and goes.
And Dawn, just to explain to listeners who Dawn is, she is a coworker of yours.
Mm-hmm. Dawn is a coworker and one of my very closest friends, and we fangirl together. And we have like a little thing called Fangirl Adventures.
Tell us a little bit about Fangirl Adventures, because you've been hashtagging all weekend with your Fangirl Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
It's been quiet for a long time just because there was nothing really going on with the pandemic, but it's just a little blog that I started, and then we started posting pictures and we started talking about our adventures that we were doing and things, we go to Good Morning America and, or book signings, whatever. And we just wanted, people always like our stories and they think they're funny. So we just figured we'd throw them up for people to enjoy.
Yeah. I'm thinking it might be time to update it though, right? To Fan Old Lady Adventures. Your whole TikTok was about you two couldn't even stand. You had to sit down, and you couldn't get up because you were going to fart. I was like, what is happening?
Listen, that's not just my issue. That's everybody's issue. Okay.
Oh my Lord.
If there's one thing I learned for this con is I am getting older. The concrete floor is not my friend. And I need one of those little stools to.
Mm-hmm. Now, my two other co-hosts of Distracted Dads, they've been to New York Comic Con. They went a few years ago. Stan Lee was there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was right
Stanley,
around.
I know him.
I can't remember if it was right. It was maybe one of the Avenger movies or one of the Captain America movies that were coming out, but they were giving away the actual, like the Captain America shield, the big metal replica shield, and Paul won. He put his name in the thing and he ended up winning it.
That's
and
awesome.
he was all excited. All the other ones were pissed because he won it. And then they got to see Stan Lee, and he got Stan Lee to sign it right in the middle in the star. So he has the
That's
big
fantastic.
shield sitting up at his house up on the shelf and everything. And they have pictures. They actually ran into him a couple times besides them getting it signed. Then they ran into him walking down the street. They were getting ice cream and he comes walking out and stuff like that. So
That's so cool. My first con in 29 or 09, I almost bumped into Stan Lee, and I was like, oh my God, because I was so unfamiliar with things, and we were meeting some guests, like some other people that
Excuse me.
and like I said, I almost bumped into Stan Lee, and then a few years down the road, I met him at a different convention, but it's a cool memory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, he the picture he got with Stan Lee signing it, there's a guy that we run into at Soggy Bottom every once in a while. He does he prints stuff out on like metal and things like that. Well, he made him a metal business card using that photo, and then it like printed right on the photo, and then he has the stuff all in the back with the stuff for like our website and all that. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
How old is Stanley now?
Stanley's dead.
He's dead.
Did he die?
Like 2 years ago.
Oh, now that you mentioned that, I remember him dying.
Huh?
Well, rest in peace.
Angela Lansbury died today.
I know.
Yeah, I saw that.
Murder She Wrote, but like Mrs. Potts, you know?
Mhm.
So sad.
Yeah.
So, Lisa, what kind of keeps attracting you personally to come back year after year to Comic-Con?
Well, I love the panels. That's probably my favorite thing. Like, so New York Comic Con's changed over the years, and we used to have to buy individual day tickets. Then they went to like a 4-day ticket thing, and then they slowly incorporated VIPs, and it went anywhere from $200 with like lesser perks up to $500 with a lot of perks.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, being the dedicated fan I am to certain things and just older, like I'll pay that $500 for the convenience of the ticket. And one of the conveniences of the ticket is to be guaranteed a seat in the panels, because otherwise it's really a crapshoot, because you have to get into a line at a certain time, and hopefully your computer's fast enough to like get you a reservation in that panel. So for me, like the big ticket is worth it for all the panels I get to see, because like, for example, on Sunday, I was in the Winchester's panel, which is the prequel to Supernatural. And we were very fortunate enough to see the very first episode of the new show that won't come out for 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So and then you get to see the cast and crew, and they talk about it, and sometimes you can ask questions, which I have in the past. Like I've gotten up and asked questions at these panels. It's just a good time. Like it's really informative. And when are you going to see certain actors? Like you're not going to see certain ones. They're not going to do meet and greets. They're just not that type of person, but you admire them, and it's great to see them.
Now, do you have to pay for each panel that you go to, or is the one ticket cover
The one ticket
multiple
covers
panels?
everything. The one ticket covers everything unless it's specified. So like there was a reunion panel with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd for Back to the Future, and they both sold tickets and allowed reservations to it. And then there's like, I think this is an unfortunate trend, like not for that one, because I know a lot of the money goes to his organization, but there's a unfortunate trend of stars that come to Comic-Con that pack a huge house and now are charging ridiculous amounts of money for you to like meet them, get their autograph, and get a front row to their panel. And to me, like that's not Comic-Con, like at all. So I refuse to. I mean, it would have to be Tom Cruise for me to purchase anything like that. It'd have to be like a once in a lifetime.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money on that Supernatural convention.
Mm-hmm. Well, Creation, which is the one that puts that on, is very organized, but you're going to pay for it.
Oh no, because I mean, you had to. I mean, yeah, you got with the certain packages, you got certain autographs, but the problem was unless you had something, you had to buy the stuff there, so you had to buy photos of them for them to sign. So
Right.
It was like
most of the ones I
we
go
didn't
to
know,
like, do
so
something like that.
we had to buy all that
Picture
stuff
of
when we were there. And then yes, then you had your select ones, and you had to pay for certain things for, but whatever, Sheila enjoyed it, so that's all.
Oh
That's
heck
all
yeah,
matters.
I did. I texted her throughout the whole Supernatural panel pictures of Jensen Ackles and everything that was happening. So she enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have a listener question, Lisa.
Oh boy. All right.
So Jay from Pennsylvania wants to ask you, have you ever encountered an overly immersed fan? Were you scared? And tell us about it.
Yeah, I know people bust me because like I like things, but there's some fanatics out there.
What separates like you from a fanatic?
Well, their aggressiveness sometimes, just it's really
As far as
just
like pushing
it's a
people out of the
moment.
way?
Yeah. Like, for example, my favorite moment of Comic-Con this year was the chance to meet James McAvoy, who anyone who's listening, hopefully he plays Professor X. He was in Split, he's been in Atonement, like he's in his this new thing called His Dark Materials. And he's like an actor that is from Scotland, so you don't really see him. So I was in the front row, I was able to run up, and he came over, he was very nice, got my picture with him, signed my shirt, but I did it all relatively calmly, and he was super receptive, but you do get some crazy people. Like the craziest one was I was out in front trying to meet Dan Radcliffe one time at his one Broadway production.
That's the little boy from Harry Potter that you like.
Well, he's old now, so yeah, it's okay now. Yeah, and we went to see Equius, right? Yeah. So I was there, trying to meet him. Greg's with me, and this old man pushed me out of the way to get like a stupid $2 magazine cover signed, and I missed my opportunity to meet him at that point. And I'm like, that's the difference. Like that's
I've seen it at golf tournaments where these adults will be knocking kids over.
Oh yeah.
We had that at our fishing tournament.
Did you really?
Yeah. We're giving stuff away, and the parents attacked us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
People love free shit.
Oh yeah. That's a lot of that is at Comic-Con, like not like a fan interaction, but the floor is famous for people like Marvel, DC, they come to the con, they initially want to get fan interaction, so they bring swag or goodies, and people will chop off their left arm for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very, like, for as nice as fans are to one another, and I have to say this year at New York Comic Con, we had a few idiots per se, but like the majority were super nice and wonderfully helpful, like between the staff and the people. Like people were giving me things, like it was a really good experience as far as that's concerned this year. And I didn't run into any like fanatics that scared me.
Now, have you or would you consider dressing in character for the event?
Yes. So Dawn did this year. Dawn did 2 days. The first day she dressed as Lady Loki, and then she dressed as she went in a Harry Potter thing. And every year I think about doing it, but it is a pain. And then you're dressed that way all day long, and there's, you know what I mean? So it's a dedicated.
It's a commitment.
It's a commitment that I have yet to. I mean, I'll dress like in my Harry Potter shirt and stuff like that, but to get all dressed up, I'm like, oh, this ass.
So if you do, or when you do, who do you think you would go dressed as?
There's a ton. Like I have a few cosplays kind of in the wings. Like I have one as Belle for Beauty and the Beast, and I have this, like, I need a little beast to hold with me, and I have a Batgirl one. I have Harry Potter. I mean, I guess I have dressed up as Harry Potter. I should say that, as Hermione a few times, but I didn't really consider that cosplay. It's just something I
do normal. Just normal Saturday night.
I don't know. My life is private.
Now, Gary, who would you go as for? And we should explain, I guess, to listeners who may not be familiar with the term cosplay.
Mm-hmm. You want me to explain?
Yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
It's like fans who enjoy their, favorite characters or whatever, and they commit to the costume, and it can be very expensive. Like I saw everybody from like a ton of anime people, which the costumes are expensive, especially if they buy like real genuine articles for it. I mean, look at the people who dress like stormtroopers. Just their helmets alone are $200-300. Their lightsabers are, you know, as real as they could be. Their garbs are from wherever. Like it's an expensive hobby. And New York Comic Con every year hosts internet or a continental cosplay championship, where like top prize, I feel like it's like $1,000. So I mean, they not only do they do it for the pleasure of doing it and getting their pictures taken, but they do it to be competitive. That's like a small championship. There are huge.
There was a whole show on Sci-Fi Channel that was all about cosplay, and these people
I love that show.
Are
great.
like they do other stuff. I seen a guy dressed like Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. He was on stilts walking around in a big, I mean, it was just, I'll have to look, see, I might have a picture of it. I'll have to look later, but yeah, I mean, it's, these people are crazy. But if I had to, I mean, if I had to dress.
Now, I know, Gary, you mentioned last week you dress up in kilts, but do you have another character that you would dress up as?
So I've never dressed to go on a comic. I mean, like I said, like Lisa said, I'll put a Star Wars shirt on or something that I have to wear there or something like that. Or, you know, I have a couple DC shirts and things like that.
No doubt, of course.
But I mean, right now I do have my Jedi robe. So if I was going to maybe dress up, I'd probably dress up as a Jedi. I have my sword, my lightsabers. So I'd probably do something like that. Yeah. Or I mean, I if I was going to do it too, Star Trek, I'd maybe get like a Star Trek outfit and wear that.
We'll come back to that, but
yeah,
I think if I ever had to do it, I would want to be Batman.
Oh, that's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
I'm Batman. Yeah.
Some of you have to see like the costumes. They're really cool. I mean, like you can say what you want, but like those people put in a lot of time and effort, a lot of money to make those things look great. Like there was a gentleman 2 years in a row. One time he came as the Hulkbuster, which I hope some people, but he completely made that and then actually could come out of it because it's like a robot, like, you know, Tony Stark is inside the robot or Iron Man's inside the robot. And he also came as like a transformer, which was amazing. Yeah, that's fantastic.
But yeah, so cool. That was a good one. But you know what we need to do, Brian, then? We'll do the Comic-Con, you'll do Batman, and I'll dress up as the Joker.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Robin.
And
oh my God, please come next year. That would be fantastic.
We're going to do it. I'd have to be like the Butler or something. Or no, Joker. I'll do the Joker.
I'm starting to look more and more like Michael Keaton.
The best Batman.
What'd you say?
I said the best Batman.
Oh. We have another question from a listener, Lisa.
Okay.
This is from Jimmy in Pennsylvania. It's a two-parter. Who have you met that totally impressed, and who have you met that was a letdown?
I think one of the nicest people I've ever met will always be Nathan Fillion.
Who? Oh,
Nathan Fillion. He is such a doll. I thought James McAvoy was a doll. I really have very limited. The only bad experience, and I have to explain it, is I went to a convention in New York, not Comic-Con, a different. And I was really excited because Will Wheaton was there. He's been one of my all-time favorite actors my whole life because Stand By Me is my favorite movie of all time. So when I went to meet him, there was no one at his booth at the time. Don and I had made bowling shirts that said the Wesley Crushers from it's a throwback to the Big Bang Theory. So we were all excited to come up and meet him. I didn't know he was a germaphobe because I didn't know. So I went to shake his hand and he fist bumped me instead. I was a little disappointed, but he didn't really talk to me or anything.
And this is pre-COVID. He's fist bumping.
This is pre-COVID, and I I'm not gonna lie, I was devastated because I was like, oh my God, I was going to meet him and he wasn't really too personal. But later on, I had scheduled a photo op with him, and he has apologized because he was. I remember I was doing something, I didn't get a chance to say how much I loved your shirts, and so he like totally, made it up for me. But at first I was like, oh no, like
He redeemed himself.
I was a little bit, but I had met him once before at a Star Trek convention, but he was really young and it didn't have the interaction that now, you know what I mean? Like that was a really long time ago, and now cons are so different and your experience is so different. So.
Now, I just want to, you posted one of the pictures from this past weekend where one of the stars was like behind a plexiglass.
Yeah, I was a little just not with him per se, but I was disappointed in the whole experience.
Was that Comic-Con's thing or the star themselves?
Well, a little bit of both. Comic-Con hires a company called Epic Photos, and each year they're the ones that run that section of the con. So I don't know if they're the ones that actually book the guests, but they're the ones that book the times and stuff like that. And they've been pretty transparent. And if there is someone who requests the plexiglass, they'll let you know. So you can either buy it or not buy it, because I absolutely 100% am behind it. If they want it, that's fine. I don't care. But it's my choice not to go through with the purchase, right? And they should offer. And what happened was I checked and checked and checked. I did not get an email. I got my confirmation email. It never said plexiglass was going to be used. Like on other stars, like Brandon Fraser said he was going to use it. And of course, Michael J. Fox used it. But he never said he was going to use it. And Don and I paid $300 and some for this photo. We split it. And she had just scanned my ticket. We stepped in, I could see a little bit, and there's the plexiglass. And our heart, like, it sank because there's no good way. Like, she stood next to me, but she paid the same amount of money I did to stand next to him. And if she stood in front of me, it looked like a prom picture because poor Don is so tiny and I'm so tall. So that didn't work. You know what I mean? And he was personal. Like, I want to say, like, I had a shirt that said Rebels Have More Fun. He totally loved the shirt. He's loving it. He waved. He said hi. Like, so he wasn't that it wasn't personal, but it looks fake, right? It looks like the lighting on my side is different than the lighting on his side. And I would have opted out of it and got a refund.
I may play with the picture and put myself in his section. And
you could. I mean, I feel so. I just felt so bad for Dawn because it kind of ruined her day. Then
you're on
like,
again.
She was so disappointed, and it just like it snowballed from there on Saturday for her. Like she just wasn't, and I get it because I was disappointed too. But, and even if it is, like I said, like I'm not mad that he wanted it. I'm just mad that Epic Photos should have told me, but they didn't want to lose the revenue. So
can we fit
I'm back?
Oh, okay. Can
am
you
I
fit?
back?
No. He's back.
No, I'm back.
Sorry.
Can you fit both of us? And you could say that they got their picture with the Brian Lennon show.
Oh, do it.
Let me. You know what, Gary? Maybe when you come up next month, we'll get a picture of you and me together.
Okay.
And then we can just.
Or we'll just have them pay $300 and they can take their picture with us next to plexiglass.
I'll run up to Home Depot and grab some plexiglass.
I'm smart now.
Oh, can I tell you something that's just been weird like the last week? I keep smelling like cigarette smoke.
Oh boy.
That's crazy. It's your father-in-law.
Like I'm sitting here now and it smells like someone is smoking.
Oh, you didn't know my Zoom's 4D.
And that's what I'm wondering, because I see you smoking a cigarette, and I wonder if it's like triggering
and you're just
some sort of reaction to me. But I smelled it last night when I was at bingo. I smelled it, and there was no smoking at that bingo, although there was for years. And then just like randomly, I'll smell like cigarette smoke. Does that ever happen? Well, Gary, you smoke, so it'll happen to you.
It happens to me all the time.
Does that ever happen to you, Lisa?
I don't know if it's like you said, I don't know if it's because like maybe I could see somebody that I kind of smell it, but every now and then, like if I do walk into some place that is my like senses are like they're like someone's smoking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we were gonna go to this one bar the one night, and someone was like, "Oh, it's a smoking bar," and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't want to go there." It's great because then I can smoke, but then when you're in there, it's just too much. There's just with everybody, and it's just like it bothers me. My sinuses start going. I'm like, I can't. My eyes burn. I'm like, I go, oh my god. I'm like, how could you do this all day?
Can you believe we ever did that?
I couldn't be a bartender in that place. I'm like, I'd lose my mind. I'm like, and actually, that'd probably be good for me because then I probably would never want to smoke again. I'd be like, I'm done. I can't. I'm like in here every day. But yeah, I can't. I don't like smoky places. It's not. It's crazy.
All right. I just wanted to bring that up because it's been bothering me because I've been sitting here smelling smoke. You mentioned Brandon Fraser was there. Did you see him?
I unfortunately did not.
Okay.
I wanted to.
I've seen pictures of him. He looks like he doesn't look good, and I was wondering if you'd seen him and can verify that.
No, but he just looked a little old. Like he'll bounce back. Like he's had such a rough time of it. I feel like he just needs a little. Oh, he had some issues. He lost all his money. Like I think his wife took it, his ex-wife, and then he had like some issues in the industry with like, he said somebody made a pass at him, and then he was kind of blackballed from Hollywood. And now he's just kind of making his way back. He's probably been an excellent actor.
He looks like he's lost a little from the last pictures I've seen. It looks like he lost because at one point he was just like, he just got like he was unrecognizable. I was like, oh my god. And then now he looks like he looks a little bit better than what he was doing. Like even when he on Doom Patrol when he started on that, I'm like, oh my god.
He was there Saturday, or he was there, I think Friday and Saturday. He did autographs, he did photos, but he had the plexiglass, and he was there Sunday for the Doom Patrol. He was there for their panel. They closed out the show, their panel. So, and my other panel closed out the show for the new Weird Al Yankovic movie, where I got to see the adult Dan Radcliffe and Evan Rachel Wood. So it was great, and Weird Al joined us via Zoom. So that was really cool too.
Well, if he has Zoom, maybe he can join the Brian Lennon show.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, he's not busy or anything.
I'll have to reach out to him. All right. I have one other listener question submitted. This is from Jason in Pennsylvania. And he says, I've been told that James T. Kirk is the true captain of the Enterprise. Can you support or disprove this?
He's not my favorite captain. Can I give a quick backstory?
So
please.
Listen.
All right, let Gary go first.
The question, it's not.
I'm just going to sit back and listen.
He didn't say the actor. He said,
I know what
captain.
he said.
Okay, I just want because you automatically go right to Shatner and you start chatting at him.
But I like Shatner. I do like him. Shatner is very reactive, not that he's not intelligent, but it's like in a different way. I like Picard because of how he's diplomatic and like his team. I'm just more of a Picard fan of the way he ran the Enterprise. More so like Kirk could have had a red shirt on at any time and died because that's just how he is. He'd run into danger, sleeps with other ladies, Picard's more like, bring me an Earl Grey tea and let's discuss. And I just like it.
He was a wussy. Kirk was a man. That's basically what you're saying. But Picard, listen.
Yeah,
I don't mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's funny that you would like James T. Kirk as captain because I feel like he's almost Trump-like in the way that he behaves and acts as captain.
really. No, I don't
Well,
know.
story
He
series.
had his listen. He had his ways of doing things, but he had Spock. He listened to Spock, so he had his.
Trump had Mike Pence.
Like
Picard
he listened to
has
him.
Picard has number one.
Yeah, which did all the fighting for him. So Kirk didn't really need Spock to do the fighting for him. He just needed him to help him navigate
Smart.
sometimes, you know. But no, to tell you the truth, I just like all of Star Trek. I like all the captains. I like all the characters. I don't think there's ever been a character in Star Trek that even the new ones that they do right now, even the cartoons I've been watching, the Lower Decks and the Prodigies. I watched all those series. I'm like, I just love Star Trek, and like every character they've ever had on that show, they always developed great. Like they're always like there was no useless character ever. So like I said, I love Kirk, but I don't mind. I just like to do it to rattle her up.
I just want to say real quick. So Star Trek has a special place in my heart always because it started me on the road to conventions. When I was 14, my dad took me my very first Star Trek convention which was at the Scranton Cultural Center now. Patrick Stewart was the guest, and we went down for the day. He took me and my sister. My dad was his first experience seeing a cosplay, as mine too. But I remember him seeing this this guy dressed in full Klingon gear. I mean, an amazing costume. And my dad goes, "Oh, these people are dedicated."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, just meeting Patrick Stewart and him taking the time to talk to my sister and I, because we were young. She was 9, I was 14, 5.5 years difference. He was just wonderful. He did in the part where you meet him and he talks to the crowd, he did like a King Lear play piece. He did all these questions. So I had so much fun doing that. And then now fast forward 34 years and I get to go to Comic-Con. I get to see him start the 3rd season of Picard, which is amazing that he came back at this because he's 80 to come back and play this role. And then the panel happened to be in the Empire Stage, which is the biggest stage they have at New York Comic-Con. And I think it holds 6,000 people or something. That could be wrong, but it's close. And the entire Next Generation, minus Will Wheaton, came out for that. Because I don't know what's up with him. Sometimes I think he loves it, but I think there was a time where he just was going through some stuff and he didn't like Star Trek, so he kind of distanced himself from it. And I think it reflects now on certain things that happen because he's not involved, But it was amazing. I teared up when they came out, I'm not gonna lie. And then LeVar Burton was there, who I was so fortunate to see this time, but I haven't really seen him in person before. And he sang Reading Rainbow to the whole crowd, and the whole crowd sang back to him. It was really a cool moment.
Do they play the theme music when they come out?
Yes.
Okay, that might have got me.
Yes. They do the theme music, and then, it was just they shared stories. And this next season just sounds amazing with the way the stories are woven together, and everybody has time. So I like to shine, I feel, and I'm really excited about this season. And they did show some clips from Star Trek Discovery. They showed some clips from Prodigy, like you said, and it's a fun time to be a Star Trek fan, I think. There's so much out there. And you can love Star Trek and you can love Star Trek. Love both.
Stardate 10/11/22. Captain Lennon speaking. It is now time for Gary's News of the Weird. With your host, Captain McDaniel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, number 2. What do you have?
All right. Today we have college football at 49. North Dakota lineman has right stuff.
Yeah.
When North Dakota State College of Science suffered a heartbreaking loss in early September, foiled at the goal line as time expired in a jolt to their national championship ambitions, it was a backup defensive lineman who stepped forward with a pep talk to lift the locker room. Forget it, 49-year-old Ray Ruschel said, according to his junior college teammates. Focus on the rest of the season and things will work out. There were just kind of emotions everywhere. Everybody did not handle it. Wide receiver Marcelo Mendez said after the loss to rival Minnesota State Community Technical College, Ray came up and said, it's not really failing, right? He said, we just have to put the emotion to the side and we still got the rest of the season and playoffs to show who we are. When it comes to inspiration, the Wildcats would do worse than look to Rochelle's own story. The path that brought him to a small vocational-minded school in the wide shadow cast by nearby NCAA power North Dakota State. After nearly 2 decades in the Army and National Guard, Rochelle was working as a night shift mechanic at a North Dakota sugar beet factory when he decided to enroll at the College of Science. The school offers 2-year programs in manufacturing, skill trades, healthcare, and the liberal arts. That sounded good to Rochelle, who hoped to move up at the factory and decided to study business management. Then he learned the school had a football team among its 6 sports, and that despite his age, he was eligible. Just clicked in my head, like, why not play, recalled Rochelle, whose last game action came when he was a high school senior in Pennsylvania more than 30 years ago. When Rochelle had asked head coach Eric Isendorf, 1 year younger, for a tryout, Isendorf said, sure, even though he worried that Rochelle might get hurt. Instead, Rochelle held his own and earned the respect of the other players. He now plays about a dozen snaps a game.
Yeah, I've seen the headline. I didn't read the entire story about that, so that's pretty interesting. Do you think, Gary, you'd be able to play football, college football?
It depends on what position I'm going to play. I think I could do it. I think I could.
You think you could play, huh?
Maybe for a college like that, because I'm sure the players there. I mean, some of these kids are big and faster, but that's the bigger schools. Something like a small school like that, I think I could probably pull that off.
Yeah, I was coming home this week, and Bernie, my 7-year-old, we were racing to the door to see who could touch the door first.
Mm-hmm.
And I took about 3 steps, like running, and my knees just started yelling, stop.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't play wide receiver or running back.
So I think, plus with my size now, I think I would maybe, you've kind of talked me into it, Gary. I think I could do maybe like a center position, because I think I'd be good, like calling out the defense for the quarterback.
Yeah.
And kind of knowing.
Also thinking like maybe a blocking tight end where you don't have to, because you got the height, so where you don't have to really run as much, but like do a little blocking and then maybe do like short routes where maybe you just have to get a couple yards just for first downs or whatever. I'm thinking if I was gonna do it, I'd probably somewhere maybe in the linebacker position, somewhere in there. I'd probably pull off that, but that'd be.
I'm thinking I could be a water boy.
All right, and see, I did it again. Stupid advertisements popping up now because I clicked off my screen. I should have stayed on my other screen so I could see, but I could see a little bit of it. So we'll just wait and see. So this story is coming out of Albany, New York. We've talked a little New York today. I can't see the title because the stupid thing. Oh, here we go. If I just did that. Okay. All right. Albany, New York. Man charged with smuggling pythons in his pants at U.S. border. A New York City man has been charged with smuggling 3 Burmese pythons in his pants at a U.S.-Canadian border crossing. Calvin Batista, 36, is accused of bringing the hidden snakes on a bus that crossed into northern New York on July 15th, 2018. Importation of Burmese pythons is regulated by an international treaty and by federal regulations listing them as injurious to human beings. Batista of Queens was arraigned Tuesday in Albany on the federal smuggling charge and released pending trial, according to a new release from the Office of U.S. Attorney Carla B. Friedman. An email seeking comment was sent to Batista's lawyer. The charge carries the potential for a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison and a fine as high as $250,000, according to federal prosecutors. The Burmese python, one of the world's largest snakes, is considered a vulnerable species in its native Asia and is invasive in Florida, where it threatens native animals. And that is news of the weird 4, 10, 11, 22. If I only would play the music when I click on the right things. Sorry,
Damn it, Jim.
Damn it. Damn it,
Damn
Jim.
it, Jim, I don't have the power.
Now, Gary, would you ever?
Not a podcaster.
Gary, would you ever put a snake in your pants?
Besides the one I got?
Oh,
No, I don't like snakes. I don't like snakes to begin with. So,
but I think if you were drunk enough and we dared you, it might happen.
if you were drunk enough, we dared you to put a spider on your face. Would you do it?
No,
Well, then there we go.
there's no amount of alcohol.
Exactly. I do not like. We have these little black racers that are here, and if one goes buzzing by me when I'm outside on the back porch, in my screened-in porch, I'm running in the damn house, and those things aren't even. They're just nothing. They're just like the garden snakes up back home.
We had a stray cat come in the house a few weeks ago, and I was freaked out by that. More than I should have been.
Wait, you didn't take in and love the stray cat? You kicked it out?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some quick points here before we finish up. Lisa, how much you stay overnight in New York for Comic-Con? Where do you stay? What hotel?
We have, it's funny you mention that because we have literally bounced a ton, been to a ton of them, looking for one that we really liked. And I have to say this past stay was the best I've ever stayed. It was at the Homeward Suites by Hilton on 37th Street, I believe.
Shout out Hilton.
Shout out to Hilton. Get in touch with me. And I loved it. The service was fantastic, and the room was for New York. The room was spacious. I don't know. We had free breakfast in the morning, which was great. When you go to these things, it's such an important time to have breakfast because you're not going to eat for the rest of the day. You might not have anything until 10 o'clock at night. Do you know what I mean? You're just running. There's things there. There's food vendors, there's truck vendors, but you're going to spend money. If that's what you, if you don't plan out and budget, you're going to spend a lot of money. But
All right. And then have you ever read The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay?
no, I haven't.
Okay. You should read that. It's about a comic book creator.
Oh, okay. I'll try it. I'm gonna get into Shadow and Bones. That's I was able to see a panel about that, and
Shannon's reading
there's
those.
a series about it, but I really want to read the books.
She was reading some of those.
The
We
author was
watched-
very entertaining, so I'm down to read those.
We watched the first season.
Well, the panel was there, and it was really good.
Did you, Gary? I know you didn't watch Dahmer last week. Have you been able to see any of that yet?
No. We started. It's funny is we actually started watching the last season of Supernatural. We've been putting it off, and so now we're finally watching it. So, but
Lisa, have you caught any Dahmer?
No, I don't know if I can watch this that. Like some people, I'm not a true crime person. I don't watch that stuff because I don't want to think about it happening to me. It's the same like I don't watch like House or medical dramas because oh my God, do I have lupus? Like I can't. I'm a hypochondriac. I can't do it. So I don't. It's not for me. Maybe, but as of right now, it's on the back burner. There's so many things I want to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to see Blonde. I am going to watch that.
Okay. Did you read my review of Blonde on Substack?
Not yet. Only doesn't want to. I didn't do it because I want to watch it first, and then I'm going to read it. I don't want to read it and get an opinion about it before I
see. That's how I feel.
That's why you're not reading it, Gary.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I mean it. I always read your stuff. I do read it.
I read some of it.
Not like my number one reader, Jay in Pennsylvania. But this I just posted tonight my gratitude journal, the third edition of that. So
I see it pop up.
Catch up.
It's going to be tough to I think go 10 weeks.
I see it pop up.
It's changing my mindset. I got to be thankful for more stuff. Can't be complaining all the time.
I agree. I know this sounds silly because it comes back to Comic-Con a little bit, but like I feel when you go into any situation, whatever it is, in this case, I'm talking Comic-Con. Like I just went in very hopeful and hoping that the day, because there's things that can go wrong. It can screw up your whole day. You know, there's lots of stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to go in and have a good time and see what happens. And I really lucked out on almost everything that I wanted to do came to pass. So it was a nice time, but I really think it's the energy you put out.
It's a mindset.
Yeah.
All right. And then one other thing, I doubt either of you have seen this. Bill Maher has like a new, I guess it's a podcast or show where he sits down with celebrities and interviews them.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Did either of you see the one with Aaron Rodgers?
Not yet. How was
creepy? Creepy.
Because Aaron Rodgers is a little creepy.
No.
Bill Maher's a little creepy.
Very creepy.
I think it could be creeptastic together. I don't know.
And it looks like it's like it looks like it's in his basement. And he's got like drinks and cigars. And it's just really creepy. It looks like he's like trying to lure him like ugh. I was watching, I was getting like the icks.
He wants that discount double check.
Oh,
yes,
all right. Before we get out of here, Gary, you have anything?
This weekend, my anniversary, we're heading over to Epcot for Food and Wine Festival. So
nice. What number year? Sorry, I asked.
414.
18.
17?
18.
18?
It'll be 18.
18.
Yeah,
18. Man, I don't do math.
It's got to be 18 because I'm 20.
I don't do math after hours. 18. Yes, it's 18.
Okay.
It'll be 18 this weekend. So we'll be going to Food and Wine Festival, hanging out there.
Nice. Enjoy.
I'm so jealous.
So
jelly.
Be a good time.
Will there be any cosplay?
Maybe. I might be dressed like a Jedi.
When like I said, in 2 years,
give her my lightsaber.
Oh Lord help! We're all gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I have a dress up like Leia.
All right. Here we go. Off the rails.
Yeah.
Do you want to put a plug in for your other podcast?
Well, yeah, Distracted Dads. We did do a live show Thursday. Brief one because we did a quick one just when we walked from one bar to another. But yeah, we should have another one coming up this Thursday. And we'll be live. Well, actually, no, we might try actually because we can do it right off of Podbean now. So we might actually do a live episode again this Thursday, but not.
And what's the name of the podcast and where can people find it?
Distracted Dads, Podbean. Go to Podbean.
All right. And Lisa, you want to plug your fangirl stuff?
Yeah. You can find us on Facebook at Fangirl Adventures. I also have a website, fangirladventures.com. And Don and I are kicking around starting our own podcast, just about pop culture stuff throughout the week and little things that we do. So stay tuned for that. And, you can also find us on TikTok. You just won't find me on Twitter. It's a cesspool. I won't be on there, but you'll see me on TikTok. And
I'm always on it. Also, this week I'm going to attempt to try to put some stuff together, and maybe we'll start selling a little merchandise. So
Excellent.
I'll post some of that stuff out there.
Also, I just want to give a shout out to Mary Alice, who joined us for the Woodstock.
Woodstock. Yep.
Her husband, Bill Lader, and cousin Sean Kane, their first episode of their podcast, That's Enough Out of You, came out this week. They discussed JFK, so a little plug for them.
Okay.
That's available on Spotify, iTunes, and they're on Facebook as well.
All right. I'll have to check it out.
All right.
Sweet. Good.
Well, that's going to be it for this.
me on again. I had a great time. I love talking nerd. Talk nerd.
Thanks for coming on. That's your second episode.
I know. Woo!
Whoa.
You're now tied with Greg for most all time.
We're gonna have to get our fan Jay from Pennsylvania on one of these nights.
See if he wants to come on. Thanks, Jay, for the questions.
Yeah.
You're listening out there. Thanks for listening. Check out the BrianLennonShow.substack.com and have a great week. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Peace out.